Hi, my name is Elise Wandering Hummingbird. My model today is Hannah. She's also one of our hummingbirds at Wandering Hummingbird Massage. And behind the camera is Jonathan Vogel, who has been a wonderful LMT for many years. Tonight, we're going to be going over the best of scalp massage. We will be starting with the setup. I like to do my scalp massage at the end of my sessions. So I like to start with getting my client completely comfortable. Since we're going to be focusing on scalp massage, she's keeping her shirt on today. So whenever we're doing this, I make sure that the pillow is comfortable underneath the knees where it needs to be. Is that comfortable for you?
Yes.
Perfect. And then I bring the blanket up, of course. And I take the blanket and I do a mummy tuck. So nice and underneath. Mummy tuck the other side. Now, why am I mummy tucking? It's so that whenever I do anything, her arms don't flop out and she doesn't have to hold on to it, so she can completely relax. I'm also going to go back here, going to get comfortable, and I can't really put my knees under my table, so I'm going to raise my table up. Okay. One of the most important things to remember whenever you're doing scalp massage is that don't breathe directly on your client. Breathe to the side, breathe through your nose. You should be able to feel where your breath is going, and you don't want to be breathing straight into their face, right? Right, so normally I'll have done the arms, I'll have done basically the whole body. I always end on the scalp massage because during my massages, I do a lot of very deep and opening work, and I feel like ending on the scalp basically makes it nice. All right, so as you can tell, she has her hair up in this beautiful thing. I'm a professional hair taker at her, so I'm going to take my hand, go up underneath, support her a whole lot, and then use a hand to gently pull it out. If it's not coming out easily with one hand, make sure that whatever you do, you make it so that the client doesn't feel like they have to get their arms out and help you. If you don't know how to take something out, maybe ask your client, hey, how do these come out? I actually had these little twisty things before that were like bun twists. And so then the client had to tell me, oh, they twist, and I was able to get it out. So we're going to take this, we're going to put it over with her stuff. And I'm going to start with a nice occiput hold. Everybody loves occiput holds. And we're going to breathe. As you're breathing, you're waiting for the occiput to kind of open up and shift. And you're making sure that she's breathing. Then I take my hands and I turn her to the side. And I do nice and juicy circles. I'm going to go ahead and turn to this side so that you guys can see me start better. Can you see that, Jonathan? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. So we're doing nice big circles. So the way that my hands are like little claws. Have you guys seen those claws that you do? The metal prong thingies? Yeah, so pretend you're one of those, but a lot more like stable. So you're going to just go around the back, right around the occiput. One of the main goals of giving an amazing head massage is touching the whole scalp. I love so many of you guys out there. I've had so many head massages, and there are so many times where I'm like, you missed like half the scalp. And it's very frustrating. So right now we're just doing really nice deep circles. We're really trying to just get in and like juicy it all up, right? How's that feeling? Wonderful. So, I'm making sure I'm going back behind the ear. You're almost trying to affect a structural change. There's a lot of muscles up in the scalp, like a lot of them. You have all these different cranial sutures. And so you can actually help a lot with, tension, as well as, have you ever seen people that have like those dips in their scalp? By sitting and pressing and holding, deep breath in, you can actually feel it start to shift and change and relax. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Now you might wonder, Elise, how long do you do for scalp massage? Well, honestly, if I had my ruthers, I'd do about 15 minutes at the end of sessions, but I don't always have that time. But I do always make sure I do a minimum of 3 minutes, and 3 really good minutes. Like, I want their whole head to feel like it's been touched. I want every single hair follicle to feel like it's been stimulated. So right now I'm right behind the ear, and if I don't know if you can see on her face, but like her whole cheek is actually moving when I do this. And of course it's because the muscles on the head are attached to the face. So then I bring it to the middle, and now I'm doing those big circles on both sides of the scalp. So right now I've done about 20%, 20%, and now I'm doing about 20% right on the sides. And my thumbs are in the top, so my hands are like this, and I'm going like this. And you can notice that my whole body is moving while I'm doing this. It's not just, I'm not doing that. I'm actually taking my hands and I'm moving my whole body around. And the whole arm that's moving this. The only thing that's really moving are kind of my thumbs, but they're only moving just because like my hands are moving, you know? Like I might be doing this to this, to this, to this, and I'm doing this. How's that feeling, Hannah? Great. So as we're doing that, we're doing the big circles on both sides. We're trying to bring, you did one side, you did the other, now you're integrating both sides. Now, and I'll start from this side, you're going to do the pull through. So, you know, as massage therapists, we don't usually have all that many nails. So we're just pulling through. Now, what are we doing here? Okay, so these are nerve strokes, but they're actually a little bit harder than nerve strokes. It's like you're scratching the scalp, and you're going to follow the hairline all the way. You're going to turn the head very gently. What does that feel like, Hannah?
Like really good scratches.
So it's really nice, really slow, deep scratches. And the reason that we're going all along the hairline is because like the hairline's super, super important. And we can go all the way back, all along the hairline, and we're pulling back. Now there's a little bit of tension that happens on the hair with this, just because you're like going through the hair. If somebody has very tangled hair, you can still do this maneuver. Now look, people are going to be taking a shower after the massage. As you can tell, whenever I'm bringing her back to center, I'm doing a little bit of traction. Deep breath in. A little bit of traction went a long way. Notice how everything I'm doing is very smooth. Now I'm going into the ears because we just did this all along the hairline. I one time did 10 minutes just on people's ears because they booked a 3-hour massage. They were like, I didn't know you could do that. You know, just opening them up. Now, everything is meant to be squishy and juicy, you know what I mean? It's not meant to be harsh. We're not trying to like deep tissue this shit. This is supposed to be like juicy and enjoyable. And then we're going to do head squishes again. Now at this point, I've covered about 80% of the head. There's still the very back of the head that hasn't been touched yet. So I'm going to come in here, lift it up. I'm going to lean myself to the side, and I'm going to make sure I get that back of that head. Now my hand on this side is holding like this, and it's stabilizing her head to the side. So I'm going to make sure I get all of the head. And we're still just doing those big, juicy, yummy, yum, yum, yum. Like Cookie Monster eating a cookie he really wants to take his time with. And you notice how I'm moving my chair over so that I have better body mechanics while I'm doing it. So every single time I'm done doing a certain area, I kind of bring her back to center. Now we're going to do the back of the scalp back here. So at this point, my hand is like this, and I'm going like this. And so I'm not at the occiput, I'm actually at where the head kind of has a shelf up here. And so I'm just kind of on that shelf, and now I'm doing just little really hard circles. And then I'm just going to hold on that shelf. Yet again, not in the occiput, I'm higher up where the head starts curving. And I'm just holding with a lot of pressure and breathing. And then when I'm doing this, what does it feel like?
Like firm pressure, but not pointy.
Yeah. Basically, if you can visualize it, it's like you're trying to make her head perfectly round. So instead of having that shelf, you're trying to like kind of push that shelf in. So now I'm going to go into her soft spot, which is going to be like right back here. Everybody's is different. So obviously, I am controlling her head the whole time. I don't want her head flopping around. I want her to feel safe and secure to let everything go. That's why we mummy tucked the arms. That's why, you know, like this is the end of the massage. This is where they're supposed to be the most out of it. So now I'm going to go right above her soft spot. Deep breath in. And my hands are like this, and I'm pushing right above the soft spot. So I'm going to get back in there. And I'm pushing. Yet again, it's like we're trying to make the head perfectly round. Ooh, that shifted really nicely. Now we're going to go about 1 centimeter up, and we're going to push again. And breathe. The more you breathe, the more your client will breathe. We're going about 1/2 inch up. Deep breath in. And now we're going to go about 1/2 centimeter up. We're doing this right in the midline of the head. And her head is telling me to go back to right on the left side of the soft spot. The whole point is to be listening to the head. If the head has if it's pokey or, you know, you feel like a tension underlying, just sit and put a thumb in it. So now my hands are like this, and now I'm on the right side of the soft spot with my right hand, and I'm just kind of holding her head here, just like bracing it as I like push in, because I'm trying to make her head perfectly round. You know, in some Hawaiian histories, they thought round head and round eyes were beautiful. So they'd actually take their children's heads and roll them on a flat stone to make their heads more round, like as babies. And then they do massage every single day to like try and make the eyes round. So now I have her head in between my hands, and I'm like this. I'm going to take it, and I have my thumbs in right in the middle, up towards the front, about 2 inches away from her hairline. And I'm basically just going to squeeze. And I'm going to move it right to the hairline, and I'm going to squeeze. So I'm squeezing and squeezing, but I'm just really squeezing with my whole body. How did that feel, Hannah?
Great.
Now I'm going to go back to the ears. Go back to the scalp strokes. My body really likes those. I'm going to pretend like I'm brushing her hair with my fingers. Yet again, like we're doing deep. When you do light is nice, but these deep strokes mean so much more, and they feel so much juicier. So like I said, I'm just going to pretend like I'm brushing her hair and I'm going to mess it all up. Like I'm intending for her to just zen out. And you see now I'm juicing everything again. I have both hands on both sides. Her cheeks are moving. Her neck is moving. I'm going to bring it here, doing the front. I'm going to go to this side. I'm going to juice again. You know, we just want her so blissed out she thinks she's on a different planet. And breathing. And bringing her back to center, a little tiny bit of traction. Notice I take my hands and I'm like right here. And now we're going to do some hair pulling. So the thing about hair pulling is that you don't want to pull back here. That's very uncomfortable. So you actually want to pull probably about an inch away from the scalp, and if you hold and pull, that feels very supported. Now what I like to do is I like to actually take a big hunk of hair. I don't know if you guys can see this. I have it all in my hands and it's like I'm going to braid her hair and I'm going to pull. And all I'm doing is leaning back. I'm not pulling with my hands, I'm leaning my whole body back to pull. How does that feel?
Really good on the back of my neck.
Right? Because it's kind of like a traction. So now I'm going to pull, and I'm going to start on this side, but you guys will see what I'm doing. I'm taking little pieces of hair, and I'm starting really near the scalp, and I'm pulling back. We don't want to pull people's hair out, but we do want to pull hard enough where you see this movement in the tissue. Like if you just look right here, you can see like there's movement here. Every time I pull, like all of this is moving. And yet again, you can kind of see like I'm holding here and then I'm leaning back. So then I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna grab all of her hair underneath and I'm gonna do a nice sustained pull at the back of her head. So you're making sure that you don't just pull one hair at once. You're trying to pull a bunch of hairs all at the same time. Then I'm gonna go right back here, right where her head connects with the table. I'm gonna pull right there. And pull. And then I'll take all of her hair and I'll do a little twist and pull. So I'm twisting it all, grabbing and leaning backwards. How does the twist and pull feel?
Good.
So I'm actually going to twist both directions. And then do a nice smushy, smushy, smush. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to make sure that every single portion of the head feels like it's been loved. And I'm using my thumbs to do like a crisscross pattern. So like this over the scalp. That friction that you're giving, you know, whenever you do like this at the same time, it gives that beautiful friction. And again, bringing her to the middle. And then we're going to do an occiput hold. And we're going to deepen the occiput hold. And then something my Kumu taught me is you come here, lift up, go right underneath, and you're holding her so that she's nice and, you know, I could do anything I wanted with her head right now. You know, I'm up underneath like this. Basically, like, you know, the pharaohs used to have those little cup things for their heads. That's what I'm doing with my hand. Up underneath here, occiput, a little bit lower. Deep breath in. And you imagine this beautiful golden light coming down from above and filling basically where people say the third eye is. And I thank the Akua, all of the ancestors. Thank you for everything you've given me. Thank you for everything you've given her. Please help everything that I've done today and everything she's done today towards her better good. And thank you for everything you've given. And we let her go. And at this point, I would do on the face, just really nice, gentle circles. The face massage is going to be like another class that I offer. So I'm going to push a little bit forward here on the scalp. And I'm going to put my fingers all around her eye sockets, just sitting and holding and breathing. So right now my hands are like this, and then they're going to go down below. Now obviously we don't want to poke into the eye socket. We want to just hold. I'm going to do little cheeky cheeks. Now, yet again, I'm not teaching the face massage today. I'm just working on scalp massage today. I'm going to do a little bit more ears. I'm kind of pulling the ears away. Getting nice and in the ears. Now I'm being all smushy on the back side. I'm going to sit and put 2 fingers and push inwards right on the crest behind the ears where the scalp is. And breathe and wait for it to kind of shift. There we go. And do a little pull. And that's our scalp massage routine. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have questions, please comment on the video. You can always get a hold of me, and I'd love to help you out in person.
So you mentioned you started with an occiput hold, right?
Mm-hmm. The classic.
And then we'll just breathe right here. All right. So we're going to start with the occiput hold, as I recall,
Yep.
and breathe.
So you want to keep the occiput until they kind of give an involuntary sigh, because the occiput is the still point inducer. I would go a little slower because we're really trying to juice them, and a little bit more tension between your hand and the scalp.
Is that any different?
It still feels very soft. It's like we're trying to affect change in the fascia. There we go. And then go a little slower if you can. Yeah. Nice and juicy. How does that feel for you?
Like I'm trying to remember. But better.
Because this is most of the time at the end of my session, I like to do everything very slow so that they don't feel like I'm in a rush. You know, I want them to think that I'm giving them every single juicy moment I can. Because nobody really wants to be rushed off the table, you know?
Mhm.
Nice juice.
Remind myself to have like a straight back.
Mhm. Are your knees under the table?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I feel you moving your hands. You're trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
where to put them to be able to touch the whole scalp. I feel you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you use your whole body when you're smushing. Yeah, that feels really good. There's a lot of power right there.
How's that feel for you?
Not as powerful as the end of the other side. There you go. Yeah. Like I can tell when you're using your whole body and when you're just using like your hand and your arm.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and juicy. How much of the scalp do you think you've touched so far?
Maybe like 20%.
Okay.
On like a good day. Alright. And then through here, you did some like thumbs.
Mm-hmm. Every time we touch the head, we are super intentional and trying to be super juicy and really digging deep into the scalp and the fascia and the muscles underneath and like trying to feel the cranial sutures. That's lovely. That's very nice.
That feedback helps a lot.
Yeah, you have good pressure on the sides, which is great. And then you have amazing pressure where your thumbs are. It feels like she's digging in, and it's like, oh God, yes. It's like scratching an itch that like is too deep, that it's not skin level. I can feel it in my brain. And you want that brain feeling to be pretty much everywhere. You know, people's hair will be thick, it'll be thin, it'll be, you know, all sorts. Sometimes you'll massage bald people that don't have hair, and that's probably the most adjustment that you need to make because it's just a little bit harder. So you really have to be able to brace yourself so you don't slip and slide. Because hair definitely helps you not slide around on the scalp. Yeah, there you go. How's your breathing?
Thanks for reminding me. Doing my best not to breathe right on your face.
Yeah. Just remember that it's very important for you to be chill and breathing deep during this time. Because whatever you're doing, the client will end up duplicating. So if you're like, I gotta get it done, that's what they're gonna feel. More body. Really get your body involved. instantly better pressure when I said that. Like instantly. Yeah, there you go. Hannah, when I was massaging your scalp, do you feel like there was anywhere I didn't touch?
No.
What is a place that you haven't worked on yet?
I think through kind of the crown through here, not quite very much. Maybe like directly behind, and then through the hairline. I haven't gotten there yet.
You're right. Very accurate. Good job. Oh God, that's the best place in this planet. Do you feel that line?
It's kind of like your hair itself is growing in a pattern on that line, and it's telling me like, hey, I should pay attention to that.
I don't know if you could hear on the video, but what she said is it feels like the hair is growing in a pattern on the lines of the head, and it says, oh, I should pay attention to that. So feel the hair pattern, feel the growth, which way is it going? Make sure you go with it and against it. Make sure you're doing nice and deep. Body weight. So you're doing the hair pulling before you've actually done the scrape through. And so it doesn't feel as good because I'm still waiting for the scrape for you to touch the whole scalp and to feel the whole, like everything feels. And so the hair pulling is kind of like, but aren't you going to touch it? Now, that could just be me. I don't know if that's every client, but whenever I don't feel like everything being touched, I was like, but you missed a spot. That feels wonderful. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, like, how's the pressure on the scratches?
It's good. Describe your pressure.
Just enough to really feel it underneath my nails, but not enough to like scrape is how I would feel, like describe it.
Excellent.
Like, right, the sensitive beds underneath my nails, I can feel the skin pushing into it, but not in a way where I can tell that that would make like a little white scratch.
Yeah. I like that definition. Enough where you can feel it in the beds of your nails. Ah, that's so magic. Our hair and our scalps go through so much. I like that you're doing the whole head with the scratches. That's good. Honestly, the scratches are probably the easiest way to touch the whole head. One of the next things I would probably try doing, keep doing what you're doing, but right after this, is trying, the thumbs all the way down to the occiput right in the middle. Yeah. Your intuition was already getting you there. That's so funny. I think if you listen to the scalp and you listen to the head, you kind of figure out what it wants, you know?
It does have a voice.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to figure out how do I get thumbs in the back of the occiput from here.
Good question.
That's my next question for myself.
So you go in, 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 in. So you can like you do this one and then this one. How does that feel? Does that feel easy doing this?
I think I need to grab different.
Yeah. Play around with your hands. I don't know if I like the way that your hands are because it feels like your wrists are not doing good.
No, I don't like that either.
Yeah. So if I'm doing that, I'm doing like this.
So fingers towards the neck or fingers towards the head? No, like this.
No, let's see this. So I'm doing like this. Okay. Oh, actually, that feels great. I didn't even show this on the video, but that's really good. Because you're right in the occiput, just holding it, that's magic.
So my thumbs are right at the base of the skull, kind of where that occiput line, it starts to get meaty underneath. And just kind of gently rocking.
Kind of on the atlas and axis. Yeah, I should have added this one in. So good.
Right, now I'm on that line where it's a little bony. Trying to remember to round out their head a little bit.
If you lean into it and just hold. Check on your posture. Oh, that's good. Lean in and hold just a little bit more. There we go. So the pressure you had at the very end, yes, stay on that pressure until you feel it move. That breath, that's what you're looking for. You can try being a little bit more pointy if you want. Yeah, perfect. And can you do that point? Yeah. 10 out of 10.
That's high praise.
Sit and hold that point right there. Okay. Can you feel it shifting? That's a great point. That's right near the soft spot. Now it kind of feels like you're on the edge, on the bottom edge of the soft spot. Kind of like you're rounding out those edges and trying to, instead of it having an indentation, trying to make it like smooth around. That's perfect. So even at this point, if I had gone to someone and this is the scalp massage I would have received at the end, I would have felt like they did a good job. But we're not over yet. Go back to mummying myself. Now she's going right behind the ear. She's doing pressure on the bony parts back behind the ears. Because at this point, she still hasn't done any ear work. She's just gone behind it, which is juicy. Now she's occiput, doing little circles. Little traction. Pulling and doing traction on the ear away from, so when she's pulling down, she's pulling down. When she's pulling out, she's pulling out. It's just kind of making, like, pulling the ear in different directions, not just one. Trying to create space. I like how you're bracing with the other hand. It's good. Those big circles. Good job moving the chair. Yeah, I like the space that you're making with the ears. Pulling away from the scalp.
I'm trying to remember to rock in, grab, and then pull. It's reminding me to move my own body and like really secure that head at the occiput down here. And then I'm just not tense the whole time.
So what you want to do when you're doing that is you want to kind of like dig in and directionalize your fingers away, but just very gently. Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Gentler. Let me see. I have this one. So right there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that right there? That's the perfect. And then you want to match that all the way around. This one's a little too into the eye right there. How does that feel for you?
Weird. Mm-hmm. I'm not used to like feeling someone's eyeball through their eyelid.
Well, you're not trying to feel the eyeball, you're trying to do the socket.
Mm-hmm.
Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
And then let it go. Yeah. So you're not supposed to get the eyeball at all, you're just supposed to get the socket. And then you go, yeah, go ahead. Practice it. Too much. There you go.
How's these fingers?
Those are fine. My biggest thing is like curling, like right there.
Mm.
So when you're working in there, you're getting the ocular oris, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if people have like eye twitches, stuff like that, it can also help with eyesight. I'm not telling you that this is going to fix your eyesight, but when your eyes are too strained, your eyesight actually gets worse.
Mm.
So like just sitting and like holding in here can help with eye strain.
Okay.
Now hold underneath. Curl more. Lighter on these. Right there. Do you feel that?
I think so.
That's very relieving to the cheek muscles too. Less pressure on the eye with these. So now I feel a lot of pressure here and no pressure here. So make sure it's like consistent. There you go. And a deep breath there. Yeah, deep breath for you, deep breath for them, exactly. That feels wonderful. Okay, and you can do hair pulls now. See, now because you've touched everything, the hair pull actually feels good. It's so like it's like an order of operations thing. You can actually pull harder. Yeah. Yeah. You see how when you pull harder, the face actually lifts up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for. And pull harder. Make sure you're using your body weight instead of using your hands. Like actually like lean backwards. Remember when I was pulling and I would grab and then I would just lean backwards? Yes. Yes. Even when you're taking little portions, you can still do that. Oh, that feels so good. Much better. Yeah. Turn on the head so you get the back. I love it. And I don't know if they can see it on camera, but my hair is kind of tangled in some areas. But you're really not having any issue with it because you're working with the scalp versus the hair. Remember to use your body weight. Yeah.
Is that pulling on anyone here?
No, that's perfect. Always check in with your clients like you just did with me and just check and see if it's pulling on any hairs. You can usually like see or kind of feel because like they might tense up, but you're doing good.
What percentage of the face do you feel like I've achieved so far?
The face?
Or like the scalp, sorry.
Oh, the scalp. I feel like it's like 99.9%.
Okay. Where do you think needs more attention?
I would do something like this.
Okay.
Like just the and just touch the whole thing. More body weight, more just like you're really digging in. Yeah. Yes. Yep. And that is how you give a good head massage.
Yay.